How many of us have them? Friends.
Welcome to Big Man Ting, a Trinbagonian podcast with Trinbagonian men talking about Trinbagonian problems. Today, we have a crew and a cast of esteemed, wise men. I'll start off with introductions. My name is Jerome Marshall.
My name is Raydon Watts, and I here to speak the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
My name is Keron Weeks, and I just here to give my opinion. It's something that we all go through.
My name is Keon. Let's carry on.
So today, our topic is about being in the friend zone. And we have our esteemed friend, Raydon Watts, to lead us out in understanding what the friend zone is.
So the friend zone. My extensive research on this topic has revealed, among other things, the origin of the term friend zone. So it was first coined by the syndicated American sitcom Friends in 1994 during the episode The One with the Blackout. It was used by Joey to describe Ross and his feelings for Rachel, who at the time didn't return the affection. So since that episode aired, the friend zone has become a popular idea in movies, television, books, everything. A television show on MTV was created, a reality show called Friendzone, based off the same idea. It was released. Also in 2005, there was a movie called Just Friends, where the female leading role ruined any hopes that the male had of developing a relationship when she put him in the friend zone. So for those who don't know what the term friend zone means, it refers to a situation where one individual in a friendship develops more intense feelings and wants to become more than friends with the other person. And more often than not, the other person is unaware of the friend's desires and quite happy to, stay in the friendship only arrangement. And as a result, the person is stuck in the friend zone, unable to transition from friend to, wherever it is they want to be. So outside of entertainment, men in particular have developed the term to describe, a horrifying quicksand purgatory that you can't escape. It's a place where even if you're nice and caring and you did everything right, you listen to her bullshit rambling about her life, about other men. You go out of your way to do her favors. You go out on mundane pseudo dates where you pay for everything. And at the end of the night, you don't even put the car in park when you drop her home. You know what I mean? There's no action for you. So typically men say they get friend zone when they believe they were wronged. They behave like a gentleman and they did what they thought was right to get the girl, but she still didn't want anything more than a friendship. And this belief really coexists with sexual entitlement, where, men think they're entitled to sex because they did what they're supposed to do, right? What they think they're supposed to do. And this is not the case. Women are capable of making their own decisions and, doing what they want, including not having sex with a nice guy. And ideally we really shouldn't be nice just to get the girl. But that's often the way it is. So before we go on, I just want to make my personal views on it clear as day, and you all know about my mouth. Really what it boils down to is a term to me made up by self-described nice guys who complain that the person they fake being friends with in hopes of getting laid didn't end up wanting to sleep with them after all the effort they went through to fake being that person's friend. And they weren't clear about their intentions. They tried and they failed to sneak into a romantic relationship. And to me, that's some beta male shit, in my humble opinion. So luckily for you, the viewers, the zone, as they also call it, is not the inescapable maximum security prison that is made out to be. And during the course of this podcast, I am confident that we will proffer certain solutions, So fellas, take it away.
I have one opinion on the friend zone. The friend zone is basically what happens. You see, like if an army try to attack a city and they realize they can't get through in one shot, they try to put them under siege and see how long they can last before they give up. That's what the friend zone is. The friend zone is you realize you attack, you can't get no play getting in the city. And so you encamping around and making sure nobody else can come there and trying to wear them down. Me supporting our friend zone shippiness. Better you go and you shoot your shot, you get your heartbreak, and move on with your life.
Yeah, man, it ain't real.
So here, that's right, fellas. I know the name is Big Man Ting we dealing with here. But so nobody ever end up in a friend zone, not even as a teenager self. But you're now getting a little game, you're now trying. I think all that making me feel shame to admit, but I had to admit I have been there once.
Me too.
I don't know
Right.
more that, no?
Eh?
Yeah, I kind of yeah, since 2005, I with my wife. So
Okay.
even if I was in our friend zone, I really can't remember, boy. You know what I mean?
Well, what's interesting, right, is that I would say I have been there once, and I do consider myself a beta male. But interesting enough, um, I end up in a friend zone, and then I just decided, I was like, you know what, me and this person on two totally different wavelengths. Them I don't even really fight on that, and I just never went ahead with trying to pursue anything. But I would say to any fella, once you could stomach rejection, you have no reason to be in a friend zone.
So let me ask you a question, right? What
Mhm.
examples, or I shouldn't say examples, but what signs she give you that you in your friend zone?
Well, as I say, this was teenage years, so I really don't even know if this count in the whole discussion. But basically, you be now one fella around, and you know when the boyfriend mess up and stuff, you still realize it had no change in the way she relate to you, that kind of thing. When she's a free single agent now. So I think that was one of the signs, you know.
You see, the reason why I ask you that, right, is because sometimes you might think you're in your friend zone when you're actually not.
I agree with that. That I learned
And
later on in life.
right, and that's the thing. So if the purpose, and I hope we get out of this session, is that we want to find out like what exactly to look for to know that you're in your friend zone, because you might just be scared.
True.
You understand?
So it's have a distinction I want to make, right? It's have a little concept that is current in my brethren on them. There's a thing that is called a bench warmer. Being a bench warmer is different to being in the friend zone, right?
All right,
A
explain
bench
this.
warmer, a bench warmer is somebody who go around with her next girl, and everywhere you see them is the two of them together, but they quote unquote just friends. And you see everything that's looking like them more romantic than being just friends, but they're just friends according to the two of them, right? And what that is that the two of them know they want a relationship. They don't want a relationship with each other. So they're having somebody that's a little closer than a friend and getting them going out on dates and romance and socialization and thing. But both of them know it they're going away, right? Or at least one person knows they're going away, right? But friend zone is when one person actively working towards trying to get a relationship with somebody and the next one just palming it off.
Understand.
Fair
And
enough.
it's sad, and it goes back to what Keon was saying, the concept of being scared. In life, throughout life, every facet of life, the phrase "scared money don't make no money" that applies everywhere. You behave like prey, people will treat you like prey, and women don't want to prey. That's the bottom line.
Yeah. It's always take me back to training day. Then when Denzel was with Jake in the car. And he's like, you have to make up your mind if you want to be the sheep or the wolf. You understand? Sheep or wolf.
Well,
You
here the
dig?
thing, fellas, as somebody that's around other young men, I don't know. No, I don't know if it's maybe I might be a bit out of touch, but it seems right as if this generation of teenagers coming up, like that whole idea rejection is a huge deal for them. Like compared to when we was youth men growing up, I remember if it is you going to school dance or whatever, men going and ask girl for dance and you ain't afraid to figure brace. Is the law big numbers? If you ask 20 girls, you have a bigger chance of getting through it some,
The
And
law
it's
averages.
shotgun method. Right? They're not
Yeah.
sniping. That is shotgun method. Whoever pick up.
Basically.
Yeah,
So-
but you see, and this is my thing, because that is the problem I have with the friend zone.
Mm-hmm.
My problem is in the friend zone, just from a fella perspective, but it could go either way, right? Is that a girl or you know you have somebody in a friend zone, but for whatever reason, you're still giving them signs like you're giving them hope now. You understand? And in the research that I was doing, it's so funny. Somebody tips, the suggest a woman, right? Is one of them is to avoid being in the same room with the fella now. You understand? So basically, if you're not interested in a man, don't be in the same room with him. You understand? Because that could throw a boy off.
So one of
And
the
next-
tips to get a restraining order.
We'll come back to that just now. Our next step they give is to don't look at don't make eye contact with the fella. If you know you're not interested in that fella, don't be making eye contact and flirting and them kind of thing. No. You understand? Because you really don't want to give a boy hope in that sense.
Yeah,
You
no.
understand?
I sorry, eh? Woman don't owe a man nothing when it comes to them thing, you know.
Yeah, real.
No, I not with that. Smile with the man if you want to. Make eye contact, wave, tell him he looking good today, do all that you want to do. If he ain't shoot a shot, that's his problem.
True. And another one they were saying was just don't look in our boy direction. If you know you're not interested in our boy.
You see,
Or a
we gotta
girl.
understand. A woman's desire for attention, right, is greater than how much she care about whether she leading you on and the impact that that'll have on you, you know. That attention worth more to her than that. So it is what it is. It's the jungle, the you know, the weak don't
Yeah.
ever live off the strong. Nowhere in nature the weak is live off of the strong.
So
You
let
gotta
me
be
ask
the
you this
strong.
question. Right? Somebody told me a story about the other day. I will let her tell me the story. So a fella he knew had once like a woman. He was from south, the woman was up north, right? So the fellow for almost a year, every Sunday, the fella jumping in a car, driving up the road and going and sit down in the woman house, right? When the person asked the fella, well, that's your girlfriend, he's like, well, he kind of laugh and play it off. One day he ended up going up to the house with the fella. As the fella reached in the house, the girl get up, go down and bathe, put on her clothes and leave. Right?
Ooh.
So the fella asked him, the guy who asked the other fella, well, so that not your girlfriend? What she get up and leaving for? You ever tell her you like her? He was like, no. I just come to lie. So you tell me, you would qualify that as a friend zone because he ain't make no
Definitely.
active effort to show that
I
he
think that is
interested.
And-
definitely friends on you.
And that's the scare thing. It had a term we used to use for that back in when I was coming up. I know they used to use it before, but you used to call it used to basically call fellas like that rat piggy.
What the is that?
That you ever hear that one
Never hear
before?
that one.
That
Yeah,
is
right,
like
yeah.
that one.
Yeah, rat piggy. They used to call it rat piggy. Yeah.
Why?
You-
Sure,
Because-
you used to call it rat piggy. I don't know about anybody else.
I never heard that before in life.
Well, you
I
never hear
feel
that
like
before?
you and your partner.
That Keon original.
Well,
boy.
then it's our original then probably. But Rat Piggy was the name. Because you can't be interested in a girl and then not showing her any signs that you're interested.
Facts.
You know, when you just park up there and you're not saying nothing, you're not making no move, then you have Rat Piggy.
You know, women often know they could tell when the reason that you're not making a move is because you just don't have the confidence, you know. Because you see that moment, boy, when you pull up and she fumbling with her keys, dog, and you don't know to move in, you don't feel that moment. She
Yeah.
lose respect for you, Dre. They come like in a party, right? And you see a girl whining, right? And you want to whine upon her. So you're going to walk in her general vicinity and you stand up there for about 10 minutes. She know you. She know why you there, no?
Mayfair.
And the longer every second that go by, every 10 seconds that go by, that you continue stand up there frozen and watching and all kind of thing, is the less likely you are to get through. Because they could smell it.
Mm-hmm. Smell, yeah.
So
You can smell
fellas,
it.
Chemical
let
thing.
me hear some stories or some feedback on how men avoid the friend zone. I will start. The day that I realized that being straightforward was the key, And there's absolutely nothing to lose from somebody telling you no. As I always say it like this: if you get a no, you're in no different position than when you started off. And the day I figure out that, no longer any friend zone, you know.
Well,
Straightforward.
that's the thing about it. Because
Mm.
especially in my line of business, I don't really care about the news. It's only the yes I care about.
Where's
So,
your line of
You
business
understand?
again?
As insurance agent.
Mhm.
So
Oh, yeah.
I don't really dwindle on news. I don't trip on the news. I only really care about the yes.
You make me
And
feel
you-
better
and
when
you-
I do respond to people and I do answer their calls and things, no? When they call into sermon, it make you feel better. I know the condition like that now.
No, at a point in time, just think about seeing 500 people, for instance. Let's just say you see 500 people for a year in one year. You're not gonna sell 500 people insurance. You understand?
Mhm.
You really just focusing on the yes. Because when somebody tell you no, all right, cool. If you could always follow up with them later on down the line if you want and just touch back base. But at the end of the day, you know, go and sit down who I wonder, well, no, and then they keep calling. That don't make sense. Don't trip on the nose.
So go back to
So
something
if you're
that Keron
applying
kind of
this,
touched on.
Well, I'm not going to ask you, Jerome, or will you have any friend zone, or what did you do to get out of the friend zone?
So there are two things I want to say. The first one is that at one point in my life, I was in the friend zone and didn't realize I was in the friend zone. Twice,
Ooh.
but I will only tell one of them. So there was this girl I had an interest in. And on and off, I find she giving me certain signals that she interested in me, but I find it hot and cold. So one day, yeah, you know, she acting nice with you, treating you real good, and then the next day, it's like I had to run her down. And that went on for about 3 months. And at the end of it, I said, you know what? All I can do is just try. So I went and told the girl, well, so and so, we talking about so and so long, I'm interested in this, that, and the other. I'll never forget what that girl told me. She said, well, to be honest with you, you're not the fella I talking to, you know. And you're not at the top of the queue, so no thanks. I was like, all right, well, what I go do? You can't win everyone.
Can't catch
I ain't
them all,
gonna,
man.
me ain't gonna lie to tell you. My
What
feelings
I
was hurt for like
wanted,
3 days or so. Because that go hurt your feelings. And then after that, I was like, me and dead. Nothing can happen to me. I live in life same way. I just get over it.
well, I mean, and that could play into what I wanted to touch a little bit too, is the stages of the friend zone, right? Because what in talking to fellas and stuff who in the friend zone and he and Keron talking and that kind of thing. One of the biggest stage in the friend zone is denial. That is when you just doubt in your friend. You like this girl, you just absolutely doubt. You just doubting you in that friend zone. You understand? So you keep. That's why I was going back to the yeses and the no's. You understand? You get any no, and you continuously just going back. Just ultra denial. You understand?
Yeah, but
That's
But
boredom too. That's a lack of options.
yeah, fact.
Right.
But
That's
just before
exactly
you
what I'm saying.
continue, to touch on what Karen was talking about before, why the youth men and them have it harder now is because when I was younger, if you get rejected by a girl, 5 men go no. If nowadays, if you get rejected by a girl, it's on Facebook, Instagram, on TikTok,
true.
everybody
You have a
know.
point.
The whole community had to know that, and she taking pride in letting people know this fella shoot his shot, and I cousin. So it's a whole different stakes now. Even though it's the same concept you have to apply, it's a different level of risk you're taking.
And Jerome,
Where's the average
and
girl?
that's we say
When
there,
the average
Jerome.
girl, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, we just say Jerome, bring him up because the other example that you use, right? And this is what I appreciate with fellas who in the friend zone. Well, I shouldn't say appreciate, but I respect. But I want to tell fellas to not do this part. Don't get vexed. Because the tone again from all the men is that you realize in this friend zone, a lot of fellas just get real mad. I in this blasted friend zone, boy. she bam to me, boy. You know, that kind of questioning yourself now, questioning your game. So what I want fellas to get out of this is well, one of the things I want them to get out of it is that don't get vexed. Don't trip on the news.
Don't take it personal.
Don't trip on the news.
And you know what? Sometimes you have to choose the enemy zone. So when you realize it's a no-go, fuck that. That's the end of that. I don't want to hear from you when you call me for one thing. You know?
Yeah, because what will happen when you get vexed is that could put you in a level of depression.
Mhm.
You understand? Because like whatever, I don't know a woman out here, Jed. Why go do, boy? This is the only woman I wanted here. And I in his friend zone. You understand? Don't get depressed, fellas. Big man ting. Don't get depressed. Don't get vexed. Just be cool. You understand?
Sometimes embrace the enemy zone. But keep it moving. Whatever you do, keep it moving.
Yeah, because and then what will happen to is you'll you'll just get into this bargaining phase where you know you're in the friend zone, but you're still trying to actually to go out. You're still trying to carry share movies or do things where you will do to track a girl now. You understand? Carry she out to
sending her
eat or
text in
whatever.
the night and asking if she hungry. She
Yeah.
ain't tell you she hungry. You sending text to ask if she hungry.
Yeah, it's bargain. You're trying to bargain. You're trying to get into it. You understand? But that's the thing. And then of course the last stage, I at least from what I read and stuff like that, is just the outright acceptance of being in the friend zone. So you see how Keron say, well, you know, I realize I'm in the friend zone. It could be my fault, it could be she fault, but I accept this. No, it's time to move on now.
Well, yo, Big Man Ting, based on what you're describing it, I wonder now if I even was in the friend zone. Because I really never shoot my shot now, but that's the next thing.
That is the next thing. So you didn't signal. You didn't send the signal.
Nah, I didn't. It's not case I shoot my shot and I was trying and you get rejected and you're just still choosing to be wrong. Nah, that I can't condone that at all.
Yeah. So you
If
just
it is a friend,
agree.
So you basically
Yeah.
went straight to the last stage at the friend zone. You went to acceptance before you even bargain yet, really.
well, I
Understand?
don't
You
want
get
to go into
vexed.
I don't want to go into specific details about that situation, but
Please don't.
I just realized. Let me leave the people on them girl children. Next thing I realized
Yeah,
she was a
nothing
good
trouble.
girl. I was like, I'm not even bother. That's the thing there. Next thing you know,
corrupt the woman heart.
corrupt because it would not make sense. It really was a nice girl, and I was like, nah, but dog,
Yeah.
just allow that.
But I mean, you see, but if you're in doubt,
Mm.
just ask out.
Nah, but years
do your
later,
thing.
I made the right decision, definitely.
Yeah, don't go into more details. So here now, there's an analogy I like to use all the time, right? I see a lot of fellas saying things like it's a hand woman out there and thing. I say when it comes to looking for the right long-term woman, it's like looking for a taxi. Because if you go and you stand up on a taxi stand, right, and you have no taxis on the taxi stand,
Real
in the
objective
end,
fine going on here, boy.
in the end, you only need one taxi to get home, you know. So 200 taxi could pass you. Once you get one taxi and going where you going, you'll reach home. So don't get discouraged if it is you shoot your shot at 5 women and 10 women and 20 women and then no them coasting them coasting on here. Keep the faith, keep the focus, keep the faith, improve yourself, and eventually the
And
right
they'll
one will
say
come
they
along.
settling.
But the problem with that, Jerome, is if you end up in the middle seat,
Exactly.
and
With
then it
no
have a man
AC.
on the left and a man on the right here now, but
And there's a
No
280C and it have an accident on the highway, dog.
you understand?
No AC and the glass can go down.
Yeah.
And one of them men, he's a sleeper and a dribbler.
That's
So
why
here now.
as fellas, your goal should be to drive. You understand? You captain that ship.
Yeah, now one of my favorite lyrics from Nas has always been, "You lose money chasing women, you never lose women chasing money," and I 100% believe that.
Yeah. Well,
So
I
we talk
lose
about
the love of my life chasing a big matter that I allowed to encompass me and my relationship. Because I felt like my relationship was contingent on success. I felt like I needed to prioritize that way. And by doing that, I alienated the relationship and I didn't manage it. So I mean, I hear what you're saying, but it everything
I
are
could give our opinion on
exceptions.
that. I could give our opinion on that.
Go through.
How to put it? For a woman who dating a man who chasing greatness, she had to realize that greatness is take effort and time, and you will always have less availability for that kind of man. So you might say it's the love of your life, and it might just be a maturity thing, right? That at that point she might not have been mature enough, you might not have been mature enough to handle it properly. I don't know how long ago it was. But in the end, if that case or that matter had worked out real good, and somebody approached you to take on a similar matter, and then the next one, and then the next one, the reality is that upward trajectory that would take you. You'll be in that kind of lifestyle. And so long term, the woman you would have to understand that is the vibe you're on.
Well, the problem is it didn't happen in a timely manner, and other things start happening, and it disintegrated. But the thing about it is it's still on track, and it still most likely will come to fruition. And when I do, I'm gonna take pleasure in shitting on her and anybody else who didn't believe in me. Systematically, I just gonna like a pigeon. I just gonna shit on everybody else.
I gotta look out for that Instagram post. That could be a thing to see.
Yo, that's what's drive me, boy. Bad man, boy. Some people just get drive by bad man. You get Lara Vex. Score a century. Yeah.
No, well, so as it is based on what Ole is saying here, right? How Ole would advise a boy to get out of the friend zone?
To get in it in the first place.
That's good. That's good. That's good. But sometimes you make a mistake, you make a rookie mistake. And it is possible. But the first thing you have to do is you have to stop caring. I don't know if it's possible for you to consciously stop caring, but you have to stop manifestly caring. You understand? So you have to pull back and you have to show your independence. You have to show your other options. You know what I mean? And you have to let her stop and think, wait now, I'll let this one go. Yeah, make her jealous too. You have to, it's things they had to do, but it's also things that you could only do naturally. So I don't know if I could really advise you, but I could tell you the circumstances in which you could get out of the friend zone. You know what I mean?
So in talking to fellas, at least the fellas, some fellas that I know, one of the common way they use, they would try to get out of the friend zone, and some of them, it worked for some of them, is that they would start tracking one of her friends to run the jealousy game now. Because a lot of the times what they say is that by tracking the friend, she just gonna see, like, no, remember, you can't track the friend and you can't be a dog, eh? you had to be the sweetest fella out here, talking about everything. She very can't dare it. You understand? And in doing that, I would say probably maybe 60-70% of them get through because of that. By just tracking a friend or somebody she know. It could be a co-worker, it could be somebody she tight with. I want to say to get into relatives or whatever, but you understand? Yeah. And that worked for some fellas. But again, all this going back to if you even want to get out of that friend zone, because a friend zone could last for so long, and it could reach to a point where you don't really care again.
That is true, eh? But you see that thing about tracking a friend? I don't know if it's just the women that I've been around. A lot of women I've been around have this thing they call a girl code, which they take a lot more seriously than men take in terms of dating close friends. So, like, I've seen situations where a woman will have a boyfriend, break up with a boyfriend, date her next fella, married him, and still be vexed when her friend date the ex-boyfriend. Right? So if it is you go for that date her best friend thing, you might be ruling yourself out entirely out of the situation. I understand why it could work because she could start seeing you as being a boyfriend, not being just somebody's friend. So it could work, but that's a risky game to play.
Not necessarily her best friend, eh? Just friends, like people she knew. Like, so it could be a girl she knows. That you could kind of work it in with it. But and on the flip side, what I noticed with fellas is that the other way around, if she started track our friend, I would say close to 100% of the times we really don't care.
It's true. It's true. I mean, I wouldn't say that's true for all. I think a man who's secure and go care.
You and the brethren might even be talking about it.
Yeah. No, I
discussing it and she don't even know.
I want to ask all a question though. A possible way to get out of the friend zone is to offer the girl or the guy, or whatever the case is, to be friends with benefits. Or you think that's a possibility?
Yes.
I just comments. Like comments.
Yeah,
Nothing more than
I
comments.
think if any friend zone are alone and the person genuinely not interested, that your recipe for them to scorn you, yo, might be repulsed by you.
If she are attracted to you, when you're trying to be a girlfriend, she be attracted to you to be a friend with benefits?
Well, that is the thing. Because you could be in attraction and think it had nothing to do with you being in the friend zone, you know. If you understand, she could be attracted to you, but the opportunity just didn't come or something like along them lines, you know.
I have to say this.
So you
carefully.
offer that up to her and say, hey, girl, yeah, what? Let me just be friends with benefits, sir. No, in your mind, your plan is to take it further than friends with benefits. But you're just throwing it out there that you have that interest now.
Are you setting up yourself for comments and bacchanal, yo?
So you didn't want to work
yourself for failure? Nah, that ain't.
You see, it might work, you know. Go ahead, sorry.
What you feel, Jerome?
Already. I do it already. You know, I can't say it was successful, but I've done it already. So I guess I had to go with Keron there. It really isn't. Ideally, I had to make yourself very clear from the jump. And
thank you.
You can't sink in the quicksand. You understand?
Here's the thing, right? Why is the reason why most friends with benefits does mash up?
Because it started messing with somebody else.
Or somebody started to catch feelings and that wasn't part of the agreement at the start.
Well, yeah.
So it's like, yo, and I have heard girls say this as well as fellas. I know fellas who was like, nah, but you see this, you want more, you want to go out in public, you want to love you and think that you're slipping in.
Right. For that long social media post on the birthday.
Right. So, and that's the thing. But that's what I'm trying to tell you, right? That's what you want to happen. You want feelings to tote because you want out of the friend zone.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that it happens both ways. Let me say the girl could catch feelings, then you might be glad. But let me say the girl realize you're always trying to push the boundary a little bit. So you might say something that a little bit more than friends with benefits-ish. That might repulse the girl and be like, all right, let me done this. And vice versa, it might repulse the fella too. So it better to state your intentions from up front, I think, is a foolproof way to win you. State your intentions from up front. A no is a no, a yes is a yes. And it's a no miscommunication can take place here.
Don't trip on the nose.
Keon, let me ask you a question, right? Genuine, serious question. You would want a girl to like you, not for who you are, but because all is friends with benefits? Because that is the only reason that she'll be liking it, because all they had thing going on.
I would like to think that will come after.
But if she's doing it for a long time, and she ain't like it in that way.
But that's what Keron's saying, you know, you go up front, you be up front and whatever. Now, you offering this friends with benefits, she could say no, you know. You understand? She could say no.
Sometimes they will.
But again, you ain't tripping on the nose. You understand? If Steph Curry study every 3 miss, he wouldn't be the best shooter out here, you understand? Facts.
I mean, I mean, that might be how you get a restraining order, but all right. I ain't gonna argue with you.
That's how you get lights up on social media, boy.
Sometimes it's okay to trip on your nose, you know. Leave that woman alone. She's to let her know, then let's move on.
Nah, you can't. For me, you can't. I don't think it ideal to be taken on the nose. She tell you no, you move on with life.
I agree.
Yeah, all they saying the same thing actually.
Yeah, our older head once told me this. He say, he told a woman, I have enough friends, you know. So I don't want to be a friend. It's either we in this or we not. And you don't need to talk to me again after. And I respect that.
See, once you have to even have that conversation, it's too late.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that had to happen organically. You can't force it. You can't be like, all right, listen, you see the situation between us, we must now fuck, otherwise I'm not going to speak to you. From the time you reach that stage, it's too far gone. So give it up. Let it go. Keep it moving.
See, that is why it's a blessing to have the gift of the gab, because if you had the gift of the gab, you see that same thing that you see there, you could squeeze in that into other conversation. So it's like you're seriously joking. Yeah, but under all of this, apart from all the kicks and thing, what really going on? And you find a way to fit in any conversation without being, as you say, robotic and
You know, it is about women, boy. Women want a man who could overpower whatever masculine energy that they have and make them submissive, boy. So if you could do that in a way without being an asshole, you're not gonna end up in a friend zone. Once she figures she in more control of the situation, she figure, all right, I unlock. He calling me and telling me good morning, beautiful, and all kind of shit. You know what I mean? Preemptively and giving up power now. Our relationship is about power. So your ability to maintain power that will determine where you end up, whether you end up in the zone, whether you end up, wherever you end up. It's power.
Yeah, because what fellas and women do it too. You will treat somebody who tracking you. He always there. That's what people. That's what you'll say. He always there or she always there. You know what I'm saying?
About the female friend zone.
Really interesting.
That touchy subject. If we have women listening,
It is.
There's a whole different dynamic, though. Eh?
The most we could try to do is give our perspective, but I was talking to my wife the other day, and she was telling me because I just asked us like, friend zone, like amongst these sisters, and I'm like, how all it is really treat a fella in the friend zone or whatever. And she tell me basically what you need to do if you're a fella, you're just looking out for certain keywords now. So she say anytime you get bro in a message, you're in the friend zone. Anytime you see bro, you go like say all just liming or whatever. And she introduced other people as it's like my brother girl. You understand?
Well, yeah, that's
instant friend zone.
I think I feel women worse than men with regard to dealing with that rejection, Yeah, but rejection on the whole. They could be they could be the prettiest or the not so prettiest. They're not willing to put themselves in that position to say. And it comes back down to all those traditional roles, the man's supposed to pursue me, that kind of thing. So it is to jump out yourself to get rejected. I think most of the women.
But I watching based on what you say, because I watching how society going right now. It might be better off letting the girl letting she run you down, Let them be progressive.
That's what a lot of fellas doing now.
Yeah, the problem with that. The other day I learned an interesting statistic that I didn't know before. Apparently, the ratio of men to women in Trinidad and Tobago is 103 men to 100 women.
This is over 18, right?
Yeah, I assume so. But
half the men is waste man. Half the 100 man is waste man.
It might be, right? But when you look at them numbers, in the end,
find it too close, or
it's imbalance in the favor of the woman, because objectively speaking, the best girls are always going to have plenty more men chasing them. And as they go down the ladder, even at the lowest of the spectrum, whoever that may or may not be, you will still find it have more men chasing out than women. Right? So if you have to be as a man, you probably have to be the one to chase.
Well, that come down to this analogy, right? What you call a key that can unlock any lock? What is called that? A master key, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's called a lock that get unlocked from any key. A
A
shitty
useless
lock.
lock.
A shitty lock. And
And
people
what
call
it is
that a
call it?
double standard, but it really isn't when you think about it.
And what it is call it when not every house in the country can get a lock.
That's a sad state of affairs.
I don't know how I waiting to hear.
No,
But what's going on say? Where I don't understand too.
Mm-hmm.
Let me say from that 100 men to 103 women. That is the statistic you give.
Mm-hmm.
So that
Come
what
on.
is it like? What is 103 to what?
Is 103 males to 100
Oh.
females. So
But are more
between
males and females?
and it gets worse because between 25 to 54 is 110 men to 100 females. And
Well,
it balances out at 55 to 1 to 1.
I like the
Some
chances, man. I like the chances.
Some people will say you had to consider in that bunch too. Some other men, as Raydon say, they ain't getting through with nobody at all. And then you have the others that getting through with multiple at the same time.
Listen, that's nature. Look at any animal species. It don't be every zebra is get a joke, you know. It's not every antelope and every wildebeest and whatever. It's the biggest, strongest ones that the female figure could, and that's how they measure it differently in humans. They measure it by money and the ability to provide and that kind of thing. But when it comes down to pure animal instinct, it's about who can make the strongest babies. You know?
Yeah, who are the most impressive? Right? And I mean, as we bring it back to the friend zone now, in a situation like that where it have more men than women, right? Some of the women might feel they'll string out the process as long as possible so they can pick the best one.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, she considering her options, she's shopping you around. But the thing about me though, if I figure I being shopped around, my ego don't allow me to stay in that situation, but I just had to you had to come and see me after that.
But and what you just said it, right? Because I think this is the distinction I think we need to try to make. Is what you want, where you want this thing to go. Meaning that, okay, you seeing, because will it be worth it? So you're in the friend zone and you're trying to get out. It's worth it in the sense that, okay, it's going to end up in what, marriage, or you're just going to deal for a year, or you seeing this woman as wife material. Because this is why I say, you exactly, what's the point of trying to get out of this? Well, it's just a what's the point, but what you want out of life, what you want out of it. You ready to settle down, or you still playing yourself, but you just want this one particular girl, you want to see where you know what I mean? What you really want out of it.
You can't beat up any quicksand. You had to hope the quicksand decide to just release your dread. You just had to stay calm and hope for the appropriate, the ideal circumstances for you to come out of that. Somebody pass with a rope and pull you out, you know what I mean? But you can't beat up because you'll sink.
Fair enough.
I mean, in the end, my opinion remains the same, you know. So I could start to give you my final thoughts in this subject, which is, fellas, the key to getting out of the friend zone is simply prioritizing yourself, knowing what you want in life and acting on it, and being willing to take any hurt that you will get if it don't work out the way you want. Don't sit down and wait for it to work out for itself. Be proactive, because it have other women out there who coupling up and finding long-term boyfriends and things while you sit down there hoping this is the one.
That's real.
Yeah, my final thought would just be, I really just want fellas, because accepting that you're in the friend zone is the biggest thing, right? And then Once you accept the fact that you're in there, don't trip, don't get vexed, don't get depressed. You understand? This just a no. Look for yes.
But what I would say is similar to what I would have said before, you know, like as best as possible, try not to get in there. But as we say, sometimes you fall in. And it's easy, you know, you just have to be willing to part your ways, get your distance, higher self-respect, and be like, yo, this is what I want. We compatible. We on the same page. If we're not, it was nice. And you had to move on. You understand? The person just had to respect that. And you had to respect yourself enough to just move on and be like, all right, cool. It was what it was for the while.
Yeah. Don't beat up. That's my final thoughts on it. Don't beat up. They can't beat up. If they beat up, you lose.
The tip.
I wonder what the
The
public think
tip.
about it.
You could sum it up with D tip. DTIP. Don't take it personal.
Hey, I like that one.
That's an insurance joke too, by the way.
I copyright that, boy. Oh wait, no. All right.
How long have you guys been together? About 6 months. That's it. It's new. Oh, it's newish.
We're friends. We're just friends, but he wants it.
Can we talk about this not in front of everyone?
I'm single.
It's complicated.
I'm single, guys. I'm single.
What?
Oh no. We're really good friends.
You put that question out there, and we got to learn what the fellas at Trinidad and Tobago really thinking about this friend zone thing. So the first question we ask is, what do you understand the term friend zone to mean? And we get some interesting answers. A fella put an interesting one. He said this can be equated to purgatory. Basically, she's saying that you're not good enough to be in my intimate circle, but you're not immediately good enough to get my so and so.
As such,
you need to rigorously prove yourself in hope of getting the prize. I am almost 100% certain reading right that response.
No. I would have owned it.
Yeah.
To the man who say platonic friendships, that is certainly not the friend zone, because I have plenty platonic female friends who I have mad love for. I don't have any romantic interest in them. They don't have none in me, and it's cool.
right. So we ask this question. Please share why you have never been in the friend zone or the worst friend zone story you have had to live through. All right, so this fella say you and staying in a dorm. I used to talk to this girl for hours, late nights, in person, on Messenger. We were getting closer and closer.
Oh, God.
Went out to show her the sights of Trinidad, and after a month, she introduced me to her boyfriend when he came back to check on her.
Oh God, King, I'm sorry for you.
Pressure. Carry on.
See, number 4 there, I liked her. She wasn't into me the same way. When I told her how I felt, the friendship ended abruptly. That's the way it should be. Don't drag it on.
Yep.
If the friendship don't have a foundation, just keep it moving. So I like this.
If it's one thing, he will ever run out of his friends.
Yeah, end it abruptly.
So, as part of our survey, we asked a question, and the question was, can being in the friend zone ever be a good thing? And out of all the responses we got, 58% of men said no, and the remainder said yes.
I like this answer here, though. Sometimes you need to take a hard pat down and realize not everybody on you like that. And that's a bitter pill for real men to swallow, eh?
Because of the
ego factor is a hard thing for a lot of men to swallow, and that's why it's go from friend zone to enemy zone too. You see number 6 here? That's another thing, right? Like sometimes, so I talk in this kind of slash and burn attitude and whatever, but sometimes you might realize that this person is a gateway, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So you maintain that tactically because you see the potential down the road for other opportunities. So you don't always slash and burn. So I want to qualify all this rah-rah thing I was talking earlier. Sometimes you just have to tactically assess the value of a particular situation. Sometimes the friend zone is worth it.
Yeah, you
You
could
can
learn
use the
something.
friend zone to your own benefit.
You could learn something from it.
Yeah.
I mean, the
And
reality
you could earn
is,
some from it. Not just learn some from it, you could earn some from it.
you ain't have to be with everybody, you know.
Yeah.
It's okay to be friends with some people.
So much a woman in the land.
There are plenty of people that are good to be friends with, but regardless.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I feel like we learned something today. We learned about the friend zone and we learned how to get out of it. This has been the Big Man Ting, and in the words of Ron Burgundy, stay classy, Trinidad and Tobago. Until next month, Big Man Ting.